Hi, welcome to our channel Programming of Mind, where we accelerate your knowledge with concise, from high-value book summaries. Let's begin. Seeking the Master, the search for a spiritual guide. Once the seed of spiritual awakening is planted, the search for a teacher becomes inevitable. This quest is not merely about finding a person, but about discovering a guide who can lead the seeker toward the deepest understanding of the self. Ravi's journey of searching for a true spiritual teacher would take him to distant places, through moments of doubt and confrontations with the limitations of his own mind. After his initial awakening in the village, Ravi felt a strong inner calling to deepen his spiritual practice. He meditated regularly, but as his practice deepened, he realized that there was something missing. The connection with the divine was still vague, fleeting moments of awareness, but not the kind of unwavering realization that the saint had spoken of. There were times when he would experience a profound sense of inner peace, but just as quickly, the peace would dissolve, replaced by confusion or distraction. Ravi understood that, in order to truly progress, he needed the guidance of someone who had already walked this path. This realization marked the beginning of a new phase in his journey, the search for a true spiritual teacher or guru. The search was not a simple one. It was not as if Ravi could simply choose a teacher from a list. The true teacher, Ravi understood, had to appear when the student was ready, when the soul was open and ripe for deeper teachings. The journey to find the right guru was one fraught with challenges. Ravi traveled across the land, visiting various spiritual centers, listening to different teachers, and attending religious gatherings. Many of the teachers he encountered were well-versed in philosophy and scripture. They spoke of spiritual truths, gave lectures, and held discussions. Ravi listened attentively, absorbing their words, but he always felt that something was missing. These teachers spoke of lofty ideals, but their lives did not seem to embody the depth of wisdom they professed. One teacher, a respected scholar of ancient scriptures, spoke eloquently about the nature of the soul, the ego, and the path to liberation. Ravi sat in silence, listening to every word. The teacher's words were profound, and the audience was captivated. Yet, as Ravi observed the teacher, he noticed something unsettling. The teacher's life seemed far removed from the teachings he shared. He was often seen indulging in luxuries, gossiping with his disciples, and was even quick to anger when things did not go his way. Ravi could not reconcile this dissonance. If the teacher truly understood the deeper aspects of life, why was his personal life in such stark contrast to the wisdom he shared? Ravi realized that words alone were not enough. A true teacher must embody the teachings they impart. The first glimpse of the true guru. Months passed, and Ravi's search continued. He traveled far and wide, visiting remote monasteries, secluded temples, and spiritual centers. But no matter where he went, he could not find the right teacher. It was as though the universe was testing his determination. He began to feel discouraged. Was he ever going to find the teacher he sought? Was this path of spiritual awakening meant for him? Then, one warm afternoon, as Ravi wandered through a forest clearing on the outskirts of a city, he encountered a man sitting in stillness under a tree. The man had a peaceful aura around him, a presence that radiated a sense of deep calm. There was something about the man's energy that drew Ravi in. He felt a strange pull to sit next to him, so he did. The man looked up from his meditation and smiled gently at Ravi. His eyes were soft, yet piercing, filled with a wisdom that Ravi had never encountered before. Without speaking a word, the man seemed to understand Ravi's inner turmoil, the longing in his heart, the questions that plagued his mind. In that moment, Ravi knew, this man was different. This man was not just a teacher of words. He was a living embodiment of the teachings he had heard so much about. "Why do you seek a teacher?" the man asked, breaking the silence. His voice was calm but powerful, like a river flowing gently through the earth. Ravi replied, his voice almost trembling, "I seek a guide to show me the way to true peace and to help me realize the divine within." The man's smile deepened. The journey to peace begins with surrender. If you are willing to surrender your ego, your desires, and your doubts, the path will open to you. Ravi's heart skipped a beat. It was as though the man's words were directed straight to his soul. Everything he had heard from various teachers and sages came to life in those words. He had been searching outwardly, looking for answers in the world, when all along, the real journey was about surrendering the restless mind and ego. "I am ready to surrender," Ravi said, feeling a deep sense of clarity. The man stood up, his movements fluid and graceful. "Then you are ready to learn, my son," he said. "I am here to guide you. But remember, the teacher can show the way, but the true transformation happens within you." The relationship between the guru and the disciple. Ravi's relationship with this teacher, whom he would come to know as Guruji, was unlike any other. Guruji was not the kind of teacher who would give long lectures or make grand promises. He embodied silence and presence. Through every interaction, he allowed Ravi to experience profound teachings without the need for words. Guruji's method of teaching was simple but deeply transformative. Every day, Ravi would wake up early in the morning and join Guruji for meditation. The sessions were long, sometimes lasting for hours, but during this time, Ravi would experience what felt like a direct connection to the divine. Guruji would guide him through breathing exercises, helping Ravi to focus on the present moment and still the chatter of his mind. Ravi began to experience moments of deep stillness, where the boundary between himself and the divine seemed to dissolve. In these moments, Ravi felt a profound sense of oneness with the universe. He saw beyond the physical world, beyond his own identity, and felt an overwhelming sense of love and peace. Guruji's teachings were not about intellectual knowledge. They were about inner transformation. He taught Ravi that true knowledge was not something that could be acquired through books or lectures. It had to be experienced directly through meditation and self-awareness. One day, as Ravi meditated under Guruji's guidance, he had a profound vision. He saw a vast ocean of light. In the center of this ocean was a figure, an embodiment of love, wisdom, and peace. Ravi felt drawn toward the figure, but as he approached, it dissolved into pure light, and Ravi felt his own self merge with it. The experience left him speechless, but deep within, he knew that what he had experienced was the truth of his being. Guruji explained the experience later. The divine is not something outside you. It is you. The experience of oneness you felt is the reality of all existence. You are not separate from the divine. You are one with it. The challenges of surrendering the ego. As Ravi continued to deepen his practice under Guruji's guidance, he faced several inner challenges. The greatest of these was the battle with his own ego. For years, Ravi had been accustomed to identifying himself with his thoughts, his desires, and his ambitions. Now, as Guruji taught him to let go of the ego, Ravi found it difficult to relinquish his old ways of thinking. His ego clung to old patterns and habits, resistant to the change that was taking place within him. But Guruji was patient. He gently reminded Ravi that the path to true freedom required letting go of all attachments, not just to external things, but to the very identity Ravi had built over the years. "You are not the thoughts you think," Guruji would say. "You are not the desires you feel. You are the eternal, unchanging awareness that observes all of it." The idea of letting go of the ego was frightening to Ravi. He wondered who he would be without it. Would he still be Ravi? Would he still have a personality, a life? But Guruji reassured him that true freedom came from surrendering the false self, the ego, and embracing the true self, which was timeless and infinite. In time, Ravi began to understand. He realized that his true identity was not bound to the fluctuating experiences of life. It was the stillness, the awareness that underpinned all experience. He began to feel a deep sense of liberation, knowing that he was not his thoughts, nor his emotions, nor his body. He was the consciousness in which all of these things arose. The first step into true spiritual awakening. Under the guidance of his Guruji, Ravi experienced profound spiritual growth. He had found his teacher, the one who could lead him beyond the limitations of the mind. With every passing day, Ravi's understanding of himself and the universe deepened. What had once been an abstract, intellectual pursuit became a lived experience, rich with divine presence. The first step had been taken. Ravi had surrendered his limited sense of self and opened himself to the vastness of existence. He now understood that the true purpose of life was not something to be understood with the mind alone. It was something to be experienced through direct connection with the divine. Thank you for listening, and please like the video and subscribe for more great upcoming content that will put you in top 1% people in the world.